You are now listening to the Vegan Stuff podcast with Caavakushi.
Hosting this podcast today are our two AI hosts, Sam and Kim. If you simply can't get enough of us, go to caavakushi.com and sign up for our vegan newsletter and get our free 7-day high-protein vegan meal plan. And we also have some good news. We will be releasing our first ever cookbook pretty soon, so stay tuned. Hey, don't forget to follow us on our socials too.
Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive on vegan stuff with Caavakushi. And today we are taking a deep dive into all things Natalie Portman.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so excited about this one.
Me too.
I've always been such a huge fan of her work.
Same.
And, she's an Oscar-winning actress, as so many people know. But did you know that she is also, like, a longtime vegan and an animal rights advocate?
Yeah, she is. And for a long time, too, like over a decade, which is really amazing.
Yeah.
And her commitment to veganism goes way beyond her diet. Like, it influences her career, her activism, and even her parenting. So it's really interesting to see how it kind of like permeates every aspect of her life.
Yeah, and what I find so fascinating about it is that she started this journey when she was super young.
I know, right?
Like 9 years old.
9 years old.
I was like obsessed with like, those dinosaur chicken nuggets when I was 9?
No.
I wasn't thinking about ethics.
Yeah, I was not thinking about where my food came from for sure at that age.
So what was it about her childhood, or what happened in her childhood, that kind of like propelled her towards this path so early on?
So from what I've read, she actually witnessed a medical demonstration on a chicken when she was a child.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you can imagine, like, as a young kid, seeing something like that, it must have been really impactful. And it made her question, like, the whole source of her food and, the ethics behind it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that seems to be, like, a really pivotal moment for her.
Wow. That is crazy.
Yeah.
It's amazing how these early experiences can just, like, shape our values.
Totally. And that's what happened for Natalie. I mean, that early commitment to vegetarianism was really, like, the groundwork for her eventual transition to veganism in 2011.
Oh, okay. So she was vegetarian for a while and then transitioned.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And that brings us to, like, Jonathan Safran Foer's book, Eating Animals.
Yes.
And that seems like it really played a huge role in that transition of hers.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a pretty intense book. I remember reading it and just feeling like, oh my God, like I had no idea.
Yeah, it's not light reading at all.
Yeah.
It really delves deep into like the ethical and environmental consequences of industrial animal agriculture.
Yeah.
And for Natalie, it was a turning point. It really opened her eyes to the realities in the egg and dairy industries, which prior to reading the book, she had been okay with.
Wow. So she was vegetarian, but was still consuming eggs and dairy.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So it's like this veil was lifted after reading this book, and she couldn't ignore what she saw anymore.
I see.
And she even talks about this like aha moment she had while reading the book. So it must have been really powerful for her.
So what exactly was it that resonated with her so deeply? Like, what was it about this book that really hit home for her?
What's interesting because, obviously the ethical arguments are central to the book and to veganism in general, right?
Right.
But she also brings up the environmental impact of factory farming.
Okay.
Especially how the resulting pollution disproportionately affects like poor communities.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's like she kind of connected the dots between animal welfare, environmental justice, and social inequality, like all in one.
That is so powerful.
Yeah, it really is.
Because it just shows you how interconnected all of these issues are. It's not just about making a personal choice. It's about these huge systemic problems that need to be addressed.
Right. And for Natalie, this realization wasn't just like a passing thought. It became a core part of her vegan philosophy and like fueled her activism.
And one of the ways she channeled that energy was into producing and narrating the documentary adaptation of Eating Animals.
Yes.
And it's just such a powerful film, and it really like visually and emotionally brings those issues to life in a way that the book is great, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But there's something about seeing it visually that's just like, oh my gosh.
For sure. And I think it speaks volumes that she chose to like pour her energy and resources into this project.
Yeah.
She wasn't just talking about these issues. She was actively working to expose them and inspire change.
Totally. And that commitment extends beyond filmmaking too. Like she's also invested in a bunch of vegan food companies.
Oh yeah, a lot.
Like La Vie which makes plant-based bacon.
Yes, their bacon is delicious.
So good. And Tender Foods, which is known for their like realistic vegan meat alternatives. And I think what's so interesting about these investments is that it shows that she's not just thinking about like her own personal preference or financial gain.
Right.
It's about making veganism more accessible and appealing to a wider audience.
Exactly. It's like she's saying, vegan food can be delicious, convenient, affordable.
Yeah.
And like busting those outdated stereotypes about it being restrictive and boring.
Yeah. And those stereotypes are so annoying because vegan food is amazing.
So good.
But she's not just about the food itself. She's also like super vocal about animal welfare and rights in general.
Oh, yeah. She's always speaking out against the exploitation of animals, particularly female animals in the dairy and egg industries.
Yeah. And I think it's really brave of her to talk about those things because they're not easy topics to discuss.
Definitely. And she's been really vocal about how their reproductive systems are manipulated for profit and drawing parallels to like broader feminist issues.
It's so true.
Yeah, it's really thought-provoking because it connects animal liberation with the fight for gender equality.
Yeah, and it's another example of how her veganism like goes way beyond dietary choices. It's like her whole worldview.
Right. It's about challenging systems of oppression and advocating for a more just and compassionate world for all beings.
Which brings us to another really interesting aspect of her veganism, which is how she's raising her kids on a plant-based diet.
Oh, yes. I'm fascinated by this.
Me too, because it's like a tricky thing to navigate.
Yeah, it's a tightrope walk.
Yeah, because you want to like pass on your values, but also respect your children's autonomy.
Exactly.
So how does she approach this?
Well, from what she shared in interviews, it seems like she's creating a predominantly plant-based environment at home, but also allowing her kids to make their own choices as they grow.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah, it seems balanced.
Yeah.
So, for example, her son Aleph has already embraced vegetarianism.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. Which is really impressive for a young kid.
Yeah.
He seems to have developed his own strong convictions about animal welfare, very much like his mom.
Sounds good to me. But first, a quick word from our sponsor, Caavakushi.
Did you know we have a vegan search engine, a vegan forum, a vegan newsletter, and so much more coming soon? So why not check us out at Caavakushi.com.
Stay tuned for more vegan stuff with Caavakushi.
Welcome back to Vegan Stuff with Caavakushi.
That's amazing. And then her daughter, Amalia, is still pretty young.
Yeah.
But she's been exposed to vegan food since she was a baby.
Right from the start.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool because it's like she's setting the foundation for a healthy and compassionate relationship with food.
Yeah, I love that.
From a very young age.
Absolutely.
But her veganism doesn't stop at home. It also influences her career, which is pretty remarkable considering like the demands of Hollywood.
I know it's not exactly known for being the most vegan-friendly environment.
Right.
But she's really outspoken about requesting vegan catering on set.
Yeah.
And even encouraging her co-stars to try plant-based options.
Yeah, and remember that story about Chris Hemsworth giving up meat before filming a kissing scene with her for Thor? Love and Thunder?
Oh my gosh, yes, that's so sweet.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it's a small gesture.
Yeah.
But it just shows how her veganism can like spark conversations and inspire people around her.
And it's not just about the food either. She's also a big champion of vegan fashion.
Oh yeah, she's been rocking vegan fashion for
years, decades.
Yeah, way before it became mainstream.
Yeah.
And she's worked with like some incredible designers like Zach Posen, Albert Elbaz, Maria Grazia Chiuri, who have created stunning custom pieces for her that align with her ethical choices.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I love that she's like proving that you can be stylish and glamorous without compromising your values.
Exactly. And she's even called out the fashion industry for its hypocrisy.
Oh, yeah.
Claiming to be cruelty-free while still using animal products.
Yeah.
She's not afraid to challenge the status quo and push for more transparency and ethical practices.
She's a total badass.
She is.
On and off the screen.
Totally.
But there's so much more to her vegan journey that we need to unpack, like her efforts to debunk common misconceptions about veganism and her unique perspective on the connection between veganism and feminism.
Right. We've only just scratched the surface here.
Yeah. So why don't we take a quick break and then come back and dive deeper into those fascinating aspects of her story.
Sounds good to me.
Awesome. We'll be right back.
Did you know we have a vegan search engine, a vegan forum, a vegan newsletter, and so much more coming soon? So why not check us out at Caavakushi.com.
Welcome back to Vegan Stuff with Caavakushi.
We're continuing our deep dive into Natalie Portman's vegan world.
So before the break, we were talking about Natalie challenging the status quo. And that brings us to another interesting aspect of her activism, like debunking those persistent myths about veganism.
Yeah, like the one that always comes up at the veganism is too expensive thing.
Right, exactly. And she's addressed that head on.
Yeah, what does she say about that?
Well, she points out that many staples of a vegan diet, like beans, rice, lentils, seasonal fruits and vegetables, are actually really affordable.
That's so true.
It's not about relying on those expensive meat and dairy substitutes.
Yeah.
You know, it's about focusing on whole plant-based foods that are accessible to everyone.
And what about the nutritional adequacy argument? Like the whole, you can't get enough protein or whatever on a vegan diet.
Yeah, she tackles that too.
What does she say?
She emphasizes that a well-planned vegan diet can absolutely provide all the nutrients you need. It's about being mindful and doing your research.
Yeah, for sure. And she even addresses the humans have always eaten meat argument, doesn't she?
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, and I remember reading a quote where she was like, well, humans also used to do a lot of other things that we don't do anymore, yeah. Implying that, our ethics evolve.
Exactly. It's such a smart and witty way to shut down that line of reasoning.
Yeah, because it highlights that clinging to tradition isn't always a valid justification for our actions.
Right. It's about recognizing that we can learn and grow and make more compassionate and informed choices as we evolve.
Absolutely. And speaking of compassionate choices, I think we should revisit her perspective on veganism as a feminist issue.
Oh, yes. It's such a unique angle that doesn't get talked about enough.
It's so interesting how she connects the exploitation of female animals in the dairy and egg industries to those broader societal issues of gender inequality.
Yeah, she talks about how the language used to describe these practices like rape racks and forced impregnation.
Ugh, it's awful.
I know, it's really disturbing. And she points out how that language mirrors the violence and control that women experience in patriarchal societies.
It's such a powerful parallel.
Yeah, it makes you think about the interconnectedness of oppression and how our choices can either perpetuate or challenge those systems.
Totally. And it's a reminder that veganism isn't just about individual dietary choices. It's about dismantling those systems of exploitation and creating a more just world for everyone.
All beings, yeah.
Yeah, and I love that she also brings a sense of humor to her veganism.
Me too.
Because it makes it feel more approachable and less preachy.
Right. It's not about guilt-tripping people. It's about sharing a positive message.
Yeah, remember that time she joked about how people make fun of vegans, but it's always a good thing to care deeply about something.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I love that.
It's so true. If people are making fun of you for caring about something, that probably means you're doing something right.
Exactly.
It's about finding that joy and lightness in the journey, even when you're dealing with tough issues.
For sure. And speaking of finding joy, let's talk about how Natalie's veganism has influenced her personal life, specifically with her husband, Benjamin Millepied.
Oh, yeah. He's not vegan himself,
yeah,
but he seems to be really supportive of her choices.
Yeah. And he's definitely become more mindful of his own eating habits.
Right. It shows how her veganism can inspire those around her to make even small changes.
And it's a sweet example of how love and compassion can bridge those gaps between different dietary choices.
Absolutely. But let's shift gears a little bit and talk about Natalie bringing her veganism onto film sets, because Hollywood isn't exactly known for being vegan-friendly.
Yeah, it can be pretty challenging, I imagine.
Especially with the long hours, demanding schedules, limited catering options.
Yeah.
But Natalie has navigated those challenges really well. She's talked about bringing her own food to set, especially early in her career when vegan options were scarce.
Yeah, it just goes to show that sometimes you have to be your own advocate.
Totally. And she's used her platform to push for more vegan-friendly options on set, not just for herself, but for everyone involved.
That's awesome. And I think her influence has made a difference. We're definitely seeing more vegan catering options in Hollywood these days.
Yeah, for sure. It's a positive sign of change.
And her commitment goes beyond the food itself, too. She's also been vocal about the use of animal products in costumes and props.
Right. There was that one instance where she had to use a leather prop for a film, and she talked about how uncomfortable it made her feel.
Yeah, and she used that experience to advocate for vegan alternatives.
Exactly. It's like she turns every challenge into an opportunity to educate and inspire change.
Okay, so let's talk about the challenges of raising vegan kids in a non-vegan world, because I think a lot of our listeners can probably relate to that.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely a topic that a lot of vegan parents struggle with.
How do you balance instilling your values in your children while also respecting their individuality and allowing them to make their own choices?
Right. It's a delicate balance.
Yeah.
And it seems like Natalie's approaching it with a lot of thoughtfulness and flexibility.
Yeah, what's her approach?
Well, she's talked about creating a predominantly plant-based environment at home, but still allowing her kids to have non-vegan treats occasionally, especially at social events.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a realistic approach. And it recognizes that life isn't always black and white.
Yeah.
It's about finding a balance that works for your family and focusing on the bigger picture of raising compassionate and healthy kids.
And it seems like her approach is working because her son Aleph has already expressed those strong vegetarian convictions. And her daughter Amalia is growing up surrounded by delicious plant-based food.
It's like setting the stage for a lifetime of compassionate choices.
Yeah, and even if our kids don't fully embrace veganism, exposing them to those plant-based foods and values can still have a lasting impact.
Absolutely. But there's another aspect of Natalie's journey that I think is worth highlighting, which is her ability to connect with people from all walks of life, regardless of their dietary choices.
I agree. She's not preachy or judgmental.
Right.
She's just really open and engaging. And I think that makes her message even more powerful.
For sure, she shows that veganism can be approachable and fun and even glamorous.
And she's inspired so many people to consider the impact of their choices and to make those more compassionate decisions.
But there's still so much more to uncover about her journey.
I know. I can't believe we're already at part 2.
Right. So let's take another quick break and then come back for the final part of our Natalie Portman deep dive.
Okay, sounds good. We'll explore her collaborations with other vegan celebrities, her behind-the-scenes efforts to promote plant-based living in Hollywood, and her lasting legacy as a vegan icon.
Can't wait.
Did you know we have a vegan search engine, a vegan forum, a vegan newsletter, and so much more coming soon? So why not check us out at Caavakushi.com.
Welcome back to Vegan Stuff with Caavakushi. We're wrapping up our deep dive into Natalie Portman's vegan world.
It's been such a fascinating journey, like exploring her multifaceted approach to veganism from her childhood to her current impact.
We've talked about her activism investments, parenting style, her fashion choices, but one thing we haven't really touched on is her connection to the broader vegan community.
Oh, that's a good point. It's not like she's doing this all on her own. She's part of a network of individuals and organizations working towards the same goals.
And she's got some pretty cool vegan friends like Tobey Maguire, who she's known since like forever in Hollywood time.
Yeah, she's actually credited him with being an early influence on her journey, which is really sweet.
Like having a friend who just gets it, you know?
Totally. Someone you can talk to about those like sometimes challenging aspects of being vegan in a non-vegan world.
And it's not just about those one-on-one connections. She's been involved in a bunch of vegan events and initiatives, like that vegan after party she hosted after the premiere of Eating Animals.
Oh, yeah, I read about that.
Talk about goals, right?
I know. I would have loved to be a fly on the wall at that party.
Can you imagine the food?
Oh, my God, it would be amazing.
It's so cool that she's so dedicated to showcasing those joys and possibilities of vegan cuisine.
Yeah, it's like a big vegan celebration.
Exactly. And it shows that veganism isn't about deprivation. It's about abundance and deliciousness and community.
Speaking of community, she's also collaborated with other vegan celebrities on a lot of campaigns and initiatives.
Like that time she teamed up with John Legend to invest in MycoWorks.
Oh, yeah, the company that makes vegan leather from mushrooms.
So cool. They're literally using their star power to support those innovative solutions.
It's about leveraging their platform to create that ripple effect of positive change.
Totally. And it's not just those high-profile things either. She's been working behind the scenes to promote veganism in Hollywood, too.
Like requesting vegan catering on set and encouraging her co-stars to try plant-based options.
Exactly. She's using her voice and her actions to like nudge the industry in a more compassionate direction.
It's awesome. And it's actually working. Like we're seeing more vegan options in Hollywood these days and a growing awareness of the ethical and environmental impact of food choices.
It's proof that those seemingly small actions can make a difference.
Totally. And that's what's so inspiring about Natalie Portman's story. It's not about perfection. It's about progress.
And using your platform and your choices to make a positive impact.
And she does it all with so much grace and intelligence and humor.
It's true. She's not preachy. She's just living her truth and inspiring others to do the same.
She's like the ultimate vegan role model.
Well said. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Natalie Portman's vegan world.
I feel like we've learned so much.
Me too. There's one takeaway from all of this. It's that veganism is about aligning your values with your actions.
It's about making conscious choices that reflect your commitment to a more compassionate and sustainable world.
And Natalie has shown us that it's a journey that can be filled with joy and purpose and even glamour.
So to all our listeners out there, Whether you're vegan or just a vegan curious, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep making those choices that align with your values.
Every step you take towards a kinder and more sustainable future makes a difference.
Absolutely. And you never know, maybe one day you'll be hosting your own epic vegan after party, just like Natalie Portman.
Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and keep on diving deep.
Did you know we have a vegan search engine, a vegan forum, a vegan newsletter, and so much more coming soon? So why not check us out at Caavakushi.com. Thanks for listening. We hope you liked this episode. If you did, we'd really appreciate it if you could give us 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on. Also, we would be so appreciative if you could just share this episode or this podcast with all your friends and family who are vegans or vegan friendly. We're also really excited because we are going to be launching something really cool pretty soon on the site, so keep an eye out for that. And we will see you really soon with a new episode.